Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Press Play Lifestyle Inspired podcast. It's a podcast that does interviews with lovely ladies like my friend Keri here on topics that our listeners, that's you, can help find the resources, tools, and support that they need to be their best inspired self. So, hi, Keri, how are you today?
Hey, Jackie, how are you today?
I'm fantastic, except it is freezing cold here and snowing like nobody's business.
Oh, no. Well, we're cold and rainy here on the East Coast.
Oh yeah, I talked to a gal today too that said she's like cold and rainy, but we got like where?
I said I'm over it already. I'm ready for summer.
I'm over it too. I got snow up to my knees this morning when I came out of my house.
Oh,
I was like, for real, it's like Valentine's Day. Where's the sunshine? Not happy pants, but it's sunny, which is really nice. Because usually we get a lot of gray weather in the Midwest, so it's nice. It's sunny.
That's good.
I know you are crazy busy because you're running a couple businesses and you're helping all these college kids do what they need to do and high school kids. So I don't want to waste your time. So I would like to introduce you. This is Keri. Keri, would you like tell the audience who you are and what you're doing? That'd be great.
Sure. Well, thank you for having me on, Jackie. I really appreciate it. My name's Keri Herndon-Brown, and my husband and I together run Strategic Admissions Advice, where we help parents and students navigate the college admissions process. So that's kind of the quick little spiel, right? But what we really try to do is try to be a mediator between teenagers, the parents, and the high school guidance counselor. So we really understand that the college process is very, very stressful these days, right? There's been a big college scandal that occurred where people were not being as honest and doing the right things. We've been in business now for 13 years doing this. We've helped thousands of parents and their students get into their appropriate schools, but we really find that kids want to go to a one-stop shop, right? The parents want to know that there's going to be somebody to help them throughout the process, who's going to be completely invested in their child, to give them the tips, the tricks, deadlines, kind of review their essays, help them come up with a college list. There's over 3,000 colleges in the U.S. alone. And too often, a lot of kids get stuck on one school. So we really try to open them up into looking at other colleges as well.
Wow, that's amazing. I think I could have used that when I was trying to navigate the college process. I was a first-time college grad or first-time high school graduate in my very extended family. And so navigating that as kind of a young person without having like my parents really knowing, it was definitely a scary, large challenge, but I made it, so that's good. So I'm
that's
glad
great. That's great.
You. I'm glad there's people like you. Well, when I was looking through, kind of in researching, because I didn't know something amazing like this existed. One of the things that I saw in there was that you guys can help students create an educational plan. So what does that mean?
So as early as third grade, we think it's important for kids to start being aware of college, right? So in third grade, let's say you just ask them, hey guys, what's your favorite basketball player? Okay, it's Steph Curry. Where did Steph Curry go to school? He went to Davidson. What would he have studied at Davidson? Oh, finance. Okay, like that's enough for a third grader, right? Then as you start to get older, then you investigate, okay, I like animals. Maybe I'll be a veterinarian. Well, if you want to be a veterinarian and you live in Georgia, you may go to UGA. But did you also know that University of Wisconsin does a similar thing? So kind of building upon these Lego blocks, if you will, right? Of thinking about college early on, so that by the time a kid hits ninth grade, you're not blindsiding them with all of these questions of what they should be doing with their life. So really kind of starting out early on, setting the foundation. By the time they're in ninth grade, now you're really coming up with a game plan. And you want to help them figure out, like we have tools that will help them figure out, if I take this assessment, then from there, it'll tell me, okay, she's into math and sciences. Okay, well, then maybe this will be her major and her career goals. So we can kind of help you plan that process out. Once you know that process, now you know what type of classes to take in high school so that you're kind of leading everything going towards the right direction, right? So you really want people to understand that there's a plan. If you don't have a blueprint and you're kind of hopping all around, you really won't succeed, because unfortunately, most schools are completely overwhelmed with the number of students, the ratio to guidance counselor per kid. So if you're not maybe having, at the top of your class, or you haven't had any issues where you had to go to the guidance counselor, that middle of the road kid can kind of be lost sometimes, right? Because they're doing well enough. They're on a good path that they will figure this out. But we all know that if you don't plan, you plan to fail ultimately, right? So that's kind of the issue that will arise. So we really try to take everybody on a journey to understand, take these classes, start test taking your test prep early, come up with your school list, visit some colleges. A lot of students will think that they want to go to college A and get there and realize, oh, I don't like snow.
Yeah.
And college A is in Boston where there's going to be snow.
Yeah.
So you have to rethink things and say, okay, I want to major in this because I want a career in this, but I don't like snow. Okay, where can I find this out on the West Coast or in the South? And we're really, really good at that. Like that's kind of our sweet spot of helping kids figure out their college list and their major/career goals.
Wow, that's amazing. So I think another thing that you kind of talked a lot about on the site was helping simplify this process.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yes.
what does kind of the mess look like and how do you help clean it up?
Well, again, you have parents telling students where they think they should go. You have students who kind of like, I see Duke on TV, I see, Rutgers playing. That's kind of maybe where I think I want to go. And then you have guidance counselors who sometimes can just kind of throw out these random schools at students without even digging deeper. You also have maybe someone helping you with your essays. You have test prep. You're going on Saturdays to learn more about the SATs. We try to make it a one-stop shop where we make sure that we're lending you out to people who can help you with your essays, who can help you with your test prep, who can kind of keep you on a calendar so that okay, if by 12th grade, right, I want to know, people have put out their early applications, early decision, and early acceptance already. If you back that up and say, obviously, then I need my letters done, letter of recommendation done from teachers, who's staying on top of that. So we actually have a system in house that we keep track of all these things for you, where the parents can simply pop in and say, okay, Johnny asked for a recommendation from his science teacher, but we haven't received that yet. And this way the parent can follow up. We can say, all right, we have the first draft of the essay, but it's not really like going anywhere. Because a lot of times if you ask a 16, 17-year-old child what to write about, it could be about divorce. It could be about, a parent being sick. And not to say that that's overstated, but unless you tie it back to you and how you're going to be better because you went through certain things, just writing about that doesn't really help the college process. So we're here on staff to help you figure out, okay, if you went through something that troubled you, how did it make you better? And how does it lend you and lend your talents to this particular school? So having a one-stop shop, kind of like the Target, right? If you go to a super Target, you can grab bread, you can grab shampoo, you can grab a lamp, and know that I can get everything here.
Wow, that makes it sounds like a lot easier than trying to. It sounds way better. Another feature, another thing that kind of stuck out for me was you can do some counseling of the child on some of their best career options. Can you
Yes.
talk a little bit about that?
Yes. So what we have found that if you allow a student to take a test, kind of like a Myers-Briggs, if they were to take this test and just answer questions without them overthinking it, their best self will rise to the top, right? And they'll be able to say, oh, if I answer all these questions like this, it shows me that I want to be, again, maybe a veterinarian because I really love animals and I love science and I love biology, but I don't want to be a surgeon or a doctor or ophthalmologist. So really helping them zone in on figuring out their gifts and talents, and then figuring out what school can support those gifts and talents the best will really give them the best career options, because unfortunately, most people then choose their career on their parents tell them, you should be an accountant. Okay, I go to school, I major in finance, I become an accountant. I
And you
realize
hate
I hate it.
it. You hate it.
Right? You realize that you hate it very quickly. And then now on your second lease at life, you're trying to figure things out. So we're trying to helpfully help a new generation of people to understand, know that you don't like accounting now, or know that you love accounting now, and figure out, well, do I want to be an accountant for a movie director? Maybe that's a way to do it. That's a little bit sexier, right? And not just work for H&R Block. Maybe I want to be an accountant, but I want to go into real estate and understand the back end of helping people when they're brokering deals. So understanding that just because there's one label, it doesn't mean one direction of a career. Does that make sense?
It does. Absolutely. Makes tons of sense. I actually had a reverse situation. They joke about this in my family. My junior year of college, they had us take a test to figure out what we should be when we grow up,
Okay.
which is a little late, don't you think? So I was a computer science major, and I took this test, and it literally said, you could be anything you want except for a computer science major. I am not kidding you. It straight up did. And I was like, what? I
Right.
freaked out. I was like completely overwhelmed. I was already dating my husband then, and we've been together 20 years now. And I
So
called,
have we.
oh, congratulations.
Yay.
Yeah. I called him. He wasn't there. I was like bubbling and crying to his mom. I'm gonna be a failure. And she's like, I'm dropping out of school. She's like, calm down. I'll have him call you back. I didn't drop out. I am now on my second lease of life, though. I probably should have heard that instinct, but I did. I did software development and product management for 20 years, and even though I shouldn't have done anything else, but that is crazy. So you don't
Right.
then get that far, right? That's sort of the point.
No, that is. We find that it's really important, and we have different methods of doing that, right? Different products and services. So we obviously offer one-on-one for there are some people who want you to work directly with their child. We also have digital products that'll let you walk through. So for instance, there are a lot of people that don't know what their kids should be doing per grade. So they're like, okay, as an eighth grader, what should my child be doing to prepare for college? We have, guides and things of that nature that'll help you to keep like a quick little, like a Bible of sorts on hand to kind of have a checklist and be like, okay, we should be preparing like this. If we're going to go the private school route, we should tackle these dates. When you're kind of in 10th grade, we have books that show you, okay, when I do a college visit, how do I keep track? Because if you think about it, a college visit is very similar to like real estate when you're going to look at houses. They all start to blur together. You're kind of like, I think I like the kitchen in house one, but then I like the
This
bathroom in
one
house
has a
two.
weird cat smell in it.
Yeah. So we try to help people to really kind of keep track of, okay, at college A, I liked these three things, didn't like these three things. Okay, at college B, I liked these five things, only didn't like one thing. So we really try to make it really easy for you. And we have different products on our website that you can go to and download them. Like I said, we have different assessments that'll really help people hone in on, this is where I think I want to go to college, and how do I come up with the college list? Because again, with all the colleges in the world, most people only know the ones that their parents went to or their, family members went to, or the ones you see on TV. And unless you're a sports person and all these different schools, there are these unheard of colleges out there.
That are amazing, right? That are
That
perfect.
are amazing for you, but you just might not know about them. So once you go through these different assessments and we can kind of figure out your talents, your gifts, you like to be in the cold weather, you like to be in the hot weather, you want to go to an all-female school, you want to go to a historically Black college, you want to go to an Ivy League. Once we figure those out, then we can also offer you another 10 schools that maybe you've never heard of before that are just as amazing as your top two schools, because we really do believe that there's a college out there for everyone. So we try to offer different things. We also offer just strategy sessions. We have plenty of people that just want to come on and they want to talk to Shareem and say, okay, I have this question. I kind of need you to help me mind map this out with my kid. What are the strategy tips to walk away with from there? So
So
I
you
think we offer a
mentioned
lot.
you mentioned Shireen, but you haven't talked about that yet. So
Oh,
who
that
is
guy.
that? Who is that? And how how does that work?
So that guy, yes, Keri Herndon-Brown. So he's my husband. I am pretty much behind the scenes. He is in the forefront all the time. But he's really amazing. Like, so he's worked at different elite private schools, and he also worked at Georgetown University. So he's worked on both sides as far as getting kids into college and as well as understanding what colleges want to see for them to get in.
Mhm.
So we've developed different systems where he can kind of walk through with parents and the teenager to understand the steps that are needed and where they're kind of lacking and where they need help. And then we have a support team where they'll come in and help you with your essays, your test prep, keeping up with your college list and your career goals. So we work in tandem together along with our team to really make sure that kids are, getting their best self out there. But yes, so it's the better half of me. That's who he
Oh, I say that too. My husband, I married up. I feel bad. I was like, I want to come from where I am to where I want to be. So I had to marry
That's
into it.
good.
But
That's good. That's good. Yeah, we've been in business now for 13 years.
wow, so
We
most of your marriage, right? That's a long
Yes.
time.
Yes, we were married 20 years, in business for 13 years together. Um, and it really came out of us seeing that there was this need for people to understand how to bridge the gap of going from high school to college, because the majority of us just filled out an application probably to one college. Even though we're college educated, the process was a lot simpler back then. You filled it out on paper, you went wherever you got accepted, you didn't overthink it, and that's
Absolutely.
where you are. Versus now, there are a lot more options out there for kids. And you have the Common App where kids can apply to 1 million schools if they wanted to. So you really need someone to kind of help and guide you. A lot of times, you have like parents that are really, really busy. So whether you're a high achieving parent who maybe, be a ER doctor, or you're a stay at home mom and doesn't really know the direction that their child should go, we feel like we can really come up with a strategic plan for you so that your child can really succeed.
Yeah, I think that's amazing because I like my nephew recently went to college and he stayed with us because a college was near us and it made sense to not spend extra money.
Hmm.
And it was different, like helping him kind of figure it. Because when I went, it was like I had 3 schools. I picked them. They all said yes. I felt like I was brilliant, right? I was like, oh, I'll just pick this one. I didn't know nothing about it. I
Right,
didn't visit them. I just showed up to school. I was like, okay, oh wow, we're in the middle of nowhere.
right,
Like I need a
right.
car. Who the heck,
Yes.
like all that stuff. And similar for him, it's just different and so much bigger. It's just so much more to sort through and figure
It
out.
is.
And
It's a
it's
lot.
their life. So you feel guilty if you don't know how to help them because, you just set them up their whole life to help them go to college.
And here's a little secret. You ready for it?
I am.
Most people are getting help.
Oh,
So when you hear these moms, right? When you hear these moms, whether you're at your tennis club or you're at, your local religious facility, and everyone's like, "Oh, Johnny's already in. Oh, Amber's already in school," and you're like, "Holy cow!"
you're
Like
like,
how are
they was talking to Shareem and just didn't tell me, right?
exactly? That's what winds up happening is that then people are like, "Well, how is Johnny already in school, and how did he know to apply early decision and not regular decision or early action? And what do those two words mean? Like, you mean early decision means I can't even apply anywhere else?" Correct. Because it's, you're in a binding agreement that if I apply to you and you accept me, you're like, oh, I didn't know that, right? Or if you have a kid, you're like, there was NCAA rules that I was supposed to follow. Like, wait a minute, I'm a junior now. I didn't start the process when I was a freshman, or I didn't take enough of the right classes. Then when it comes to test prep and kids are saying, oh, I got a 15 something, or you're like, how'd you know to take the SAT over the ACT? And you're like, oh, there was someone telling you that there's test prep out there,
Yeah, see, and
right?
I just took all of them because I didn't know what to take. So I paid for all the stuff, took all the extra courses. And then I really wanted to go to Duke, I remember. And I was short 1 point. 1 point. And I was a straight A student. Like I'm a nerd. That's my thing.
Uh-huh.
How the nerd didn't get in. Well, I didn't know it was that big of a deal.
Right.
And I was like, all right, going in, got my Cheetos, got my pen, good. Oh, pencil, okay, whatever.
Right.
And oh crap, right? I can't even get into the school.
So there's a lot of, tips and tricks that are all legal in the right way, right? We're
yeah,
not
and
out
not
here
like, yeah.
taking any payments. We have things in our contract that we wound up changing our contract the past few years because we saw the route that a lot of people were going, where we let parents know, ultimately, you're the final person putting in this application, right? And we will lead you and guide you, but we will not fudge things. We do not write essays here. There's no pay for play. We don't do that at all because we think it's really important for everyone to have a fair chance. But people are out there, and we have, batting coaches and hitting lessons and piano, assistants and coaches. So we feel like we're also just the coach to educators, right? We want to make sure that your kid has a leg up and someone kind of guiding them throughout the process. Because again, the schools are doing their best, but with 200, 300 seniors graduating and a 4 or 5 person team in a guidance counseling office, the chances are slim to none of someone staying on top of the entire process for you from soup to nuts. So just let it be known that when Johnny's mom and Amber's mom were saying that they got in, they had someone helping them with their essays. They had someone coming up with their information. Because again, you would have known early on, had you taken more test prep, that you were 1 point away from Duke.
Right. I just took
Right?
one test one time and then thought I was done anyway. Was like, oh, well, I messed up. Bummer.
Exactly. Versus saying, oh, I can take it again. Right. And making sure that you know the test dates. Because again, like Valentine's Day is the final sign up for the upcoming SATs. Now, unless you get an email reminding you, or your dad would have gotten an email reminding you, that day may have come and gone.
Yeah, you
Right.
gotta, them kids aren't really that responsible yet, right?
Because think about it. When you walk past the guidance counselor's office, it's a big poster and it simply says dates and times for you to remember stuff. And if you don't walk past the guidance counselor's office that day, you don't remember. So
Yeah.
you need someone constantly telling you, and we have a system that texts the kids because we realize that's how students deal with each other this day. And
It
then we email the parents. So we kind
So
of
you
have
figured
thought of
it out.
everything. We've kind of thought of everything. We have. It's been a long process, but we feel like we've worked out the kinks.
And then you sent a carrier pigeon to grandma so that everybody knows.
Everybody knows what's going on. You got paper, we got blogs, we have videos, we're on
Yeah.
Facebook, we're on Instagram. We try to make sure that we tell you what's going on and what's up next so that, you can
Everywhere
really
you
be
want to be.
successful. Yes,
Everywhere you want to be, right? You're kind of like the coaches for getting into college.
we are. That's all we are. We want your kid to succeed and be happy.
Oh, that's so amazing. I love it. Well,
Yes.
is there anything else or any advice that you would give right now, like the most important advice you could give to somebody who's a mom or a dad knowing they want their kids to go to college? Maybe, I guess you got to pick an age range because you say every year is different, but what's the most important piece of advice that you would
So
give?
I would talk to a high school parent and I would tell them, start earlier than you think. Right? Get a jump on everything. Start earlier than you think you should. Ask more questions. Gather dates. Visit colleges, even when you're just on vacation or you're going to see, your aunt or your uncle, or if you play sports and you're going to go, be on UVA's campus to play a lacrosse tournament. Take a tour of the school while you're there. So start early and get advice, right? Again, we have a lot of free resources on our website. We have strategicadmissionsadvice.com. You guys can go there and get a ton of great free information that kind of really maps out what you should be doing and when, because the worst thing you can do is really wait for 12th grade to tackle 12th grade in the college process. So start early.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time.
You're
And
welcome, Jackie.
I remember this time. So if you go to Anchor FM, press play inspired, you can actually see there's a support button on there that can allow you to support our podcast so we can keep inviting wonderful guests like Keri and her husband here without any fees. So thank you very much. And I hope we get to see you again on the podcast another time, because I know you have some other things cooking over there.
Yes, we do. We'll be back on to share those later.
All right. Thank you so much and have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Jackie. You do the same.
Bye.